Hello and welcome to your daily bite of the Victorian Spring Racing Carnival. This time from Breakfast with the Stars at Flemington. Although today it was more of a case of breakfast with a politician. While Australia's Labour Prime Minister Julia Gillard was on the other side of the country with the Queen at the CHOGM conference in Perth, the Liberal opposition leader Tony Abbott was riding on racing's back. Mr. Abbott stuck close to Australia's First Lady of Racing, Gay Waterhouse, watching the gallops at Flemington. Waterhouse was there to see her Melbourne Cup mare Older Than Time and her Victorian Derby colt Niagara work in preparation for Saturday's Derby meeting. But Mr. Abbott was more intent on working the polls.
Look, the thing about racing is that the big events come around with a certain regularity and predictability. In my contest, you never know when it's going to be, but as I said, the sooner the better.
In typical fashion, Waterhouse was upbeat about the chance of Sydney Cup runner-up Older Than Time, despite odds of 100 to 1. And she even added some free advice for the opposition leader.
I think she's a real two-miler, right down to her knickers. I'll tell you right now, you looked at what she did in the Sydney Cup, and the jockey didn't think she had any chance at all, and she was only just beaten, and that was the first time over 2 miles. Then she ran the other day in a very strong form race, the Tats Cup. You only have to look at the horse last year that ran in it and won it. What was it? My Lucky Day. And look how well he ran in the Cup. She'll do exactly the same thing. So you should have me on side. Look how positive I am.
You're fantastic. You're fantastic.
Honestly and truly, you. This is what you need, Tony. You need some real positive stuff, the Liberals.
And Waterhouse then got stuck into racing politics, with the industry issue of the moment centering on the lack of local stayers and the likely dominance of the international horses in this year's Cup.
Well, there are no staying races. All they do is keep pulling them back in distance. They must be mad, the clubs and the authorities. They keep taking them from 3,200 metres back to 2,400 metres. People love staying races. You know, I'm over in England at present. My man's over there buying stayers. Chris Waller's the same. The Freedmans are the same. You know, look at Lloyd Williams. People love them. People love to watch them and to bet on them. You get a little bit more for your money. You can see them go around a few times.
With a staggering 19 of the first 21 horses in the market for the Melbourne Cup being either trained internationally or at least starting their careers overseas, Sydney trainer Chris Waller weighed into the debate with his concerns about his Group 1 winner, the Verminator, getting a start in the Cup.
The horse has won 7 races in the last 12 months. All of them have been in the city, plus a listed and a Group 1 win, and yet we're still struggling to get in the field. So why do people buy horses overseas? Because they qualify for the race. So a little bit sad from an Australian perspective, but I still think he's a great chance of getting the race. Normally a few would fall by the wayside.
Waller himself has been a leader in bringing horses out from England, so his solution is unbiased.
I think make it a little bit harder for the European horses to qualify. For a horse like the Verminator to win a Group 1 race and not be guaranteed to start, there's higher qualified people than me to answer that question, but I think Group 1 horses should certainly be given a benefit from wherever they are around the world, and that should have a lot more strength than just a listed win that some of these English horses are coming in with and getting in ahead of us.
With so many of the top Cup chances down at Werribee this year, the Breakfast with the Stars gallops were quieter than usual. Precedence worked nicely on his own for Bart Cummings, but the most Cup action centred on the light hit-outs by the group of Lloyd Williams stayers. At First Sight on his own, Murayan and Midas Touch, and Linton and Green Moon. At First Sight, pacemaker and runner-up to Workforce in the 2010 Epsom Derby, has overcome a virus and will have his first run in more than a month in tomorrow's Jayco Bendigo Cup, for which he is favourite. Back to today's workouts, and they were probably more relevant for the Amy Victoria Derby, with Damien Oliver riding Sabrage in the best workout of the day. Sabrage beat Sangster in the Norman Robinson Stakes at Caulfield last start, and he had the edge over the same colt again.
Yeah, I was really pleased this morning. He worked well and he's come on nicely since his Norman Robinson win, and expect him to run a bold race in the Derby.
That's all for today, but join us again next time for another bite of racing as Cup Week in Melbourne draws ever closer.